I wanted to just go on two different topics. The first being something that's already been talked about ad nauseum, but the credit card late fees. Specifically because, I have corporations in the district. Kohl's department store is probably the best example. And I'm worried that the rule could have a negative impact because I don't know if the differentiation is there between bank cards and what you might see with retail. And I'm wondering if you guys looked at it from that perspective.
It's a great question. So store credit cards, you're right, the market is a little bit different than the generally available bank cards. They do work with a financial institution to issue it, to provide all the statements and the underwriting. A department store like Kohl's will probably work with them. There is different different loan characteristics of it. We certainly tried to look hard at those differences when shaping the rule. At the end of the day, though, a reasonable late fee and making sure that there's incentives for consumers to pay, I think will be good. I will also tell you, for those retailers, they incur some real damage sometimes when their customers are not being treated fairly by the financial institution partner. So I'm hoping that the retailers themselves can also see some benefits from this.
Okay, thank you for that. And then I'm not sure if other members had touched on this, but I think for some members of the committee, maybe they have the answers they want, but regarding the SVB failure, kind of that whole weekend that happened, we're 100 days out now. The FDIC, the Fed, Treasury, I don't think we got the answers we need from them. So my question would be, what was your role, maybe, was ad hoc and kind of developing as that weekend played on?
Well, certainly as a board member, there are 5 members of the board that have to steward the deposit insurance fund and take those emergency actions. We were often meeting late and taking votes in the middle of the night. It was a very fast-moving situation. These entities I'm all familiar with because they're also large banks subject to the CFPB's oversight.
Right.
We had real issues, and the decision to insure uninsured depositors on an emergency basis was a very, very serious one. We do think it created some stability in the system, but we need to make sure that we are ready for future runs like this and that the system is resilient and appropriately capitalized.
So specifically, what's your memory about what happened on March 12th at that FSOC meeting? What happened during that meeting?
So there was FSOC, was that on a Sunday maybe? We were all working round the clock. We were regularly in touch, the FDIC, the Fed, with the Treasury, because those emergency powers require the consent of the Secretary. So anytime there's major movement like this, obviously there was the worries about Credit Suisse as well. We did exchange information about the latest intel that we had. I don't know the specifics of it, but certainly we like to share information.
Do you feel like decisions were made and that there was already movement on trying to sell or save the banks at that point by the time the FSOC meeting happened in mid-March?
I don't remember when the FSOC meeting was, but certainly the failure of Silicon Valley Bank, it happened at around 11 a.m. on Friday. It didn't even make it to the end of the day. Signature Bank barely made it through and ended up failing on Sunday. So it's not like a normal bank failure where there was clear awareness well in advance and the entities can prepare for the resolution in the same fashion and find buyers. The First Republic resolution was quite different. The closure and sale happened over the same weekend, but the speed in which SVB occurred, it was lightning fast. And so, we did not get, I believe, a valid bid submitted that weekend. But over time, after the emergency actions, we were able to.
Okay, so let me ask you a huge question. It would be difficult to answer in a half a minute. But what is your opinion now of where we're at? And not just related just to banks, but all financial institutions. And is the market stable? And are regional banks in a good position as well?
Well, I think what we've seen is that deposit outflows have really stabilized. we're not seeing broad movement. We did see a big pool, big hunk of deposits move to money
The
market.
gentleman's time's expired.
Thank you.